Here we are, Seed Talk, special edition. I had to have big sis Jamie Elmore on the show to talk about, alopecia and whatnot. We're gonna let some people get in the room real quick. Want you guys, and ladies and young people, old people, human beings, tap in. We're about to have an interesting conversation about alopecia and whatnot, especially coming off the recent comments with Chris Rock to Jada and the smack that was heard across the world. And we just want to talk about alopecia and really, not talk so much and comment on the incident, but just talk about the condition and like what Jamie said, build some empathy around people who have it, because I don't think people really know enough about it and are really educated enough around it to really approach it and approach someone who has it in a mature, responsible way. So we want to make sure that we do that on the show after I'm, tagging all these people and whatnot. But
See it.
I'll let Jamie, start, how her alopecia, journey, got started and whatnot, and her diagnosis and whatnot. It'd be good to, like, if we could show some pictures and whatnot, but um not advanced like that to show she wanted to show some pictures, and they're pretty graphic. She probably got some on tap that she can put up there and show
You,
y'all. But
you should
um
have told me. I would have
no,
had them.
no, we're good. We're good. But I want y'all to get into the comments and whatnot, and I want y'all to ask questions, um, you know, for Jamie, because she is a expert in this, and she's gonna tell you about all the stuff that she's been doing, what she's gonna do, stuff that she's got coming out, a book and everything. She's got a magazine that she does and whatnot. So we got to just really just tap in and support this sister. So why don't you just go ahead and tell them how it all started for you and whatnot.
Wow. Well, thank you. First of all, Logic. I call you brother, so I'm just gonna call you brother. Okay. We're not gonna get all technical and all that. But thank you, Logic, for having me tonight. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be on your platform and for me to just join the conversation that's going on around the world concerning alopecia and what happened a couple of weeks ago at the Oscars. But my story, who I am, well, I am a licensed hairstylist, salon owner, been in the industry for 30 years. And wow, my hair loss journey. So interesting. So I first noticed my hair was falling out back in 1993, 94, after the birth of my daughter. And my daughter was born with some major health challenges. And so I didn't realize that as a result of that, I started losing my hair. So my hair started falling out and shedding. And what I thought when it first started out was that I was losing my hair because, as women, we go through the changes after we have a child, our bodies, hair shedding and all that. So I just thought it was like an afterbirth type of experience, but it continued. And then I actually found my first bald spot about the size of a quarter at the nape of my neck in 1998. And when I saw that, I didn't know what it was. So I went to a friend and he cut my hair and he said, you should be good. So then maybe a few weeks later, or about a month later, I don't know how long it was, but it moved to the other side. So over a period of time, the bald spots started growing. And I like to say it, they started playing tag in my head. And so it just started getting worse and worse over time. And eventually it got to the point, and I'm skipping over a lot, but it got to a point to where I had no choice but to shave the remaining hair off of my head because what I saw when I looked in the mirror was something that somebody that I didn't know. I didn't recognize myself, and it was actually was scary to look at myself like that. And I'm kind of smiling, but that's the best way I can kind of describe it. So that's kind of my story a little bit. Yeah, a
And
little
what,
bit.
and what you're saying is yours was activated. Your alopecia was activated because of, you think, stress. It was stress related. You think?
Yes, yes, and the reason why I say that, not just because my daughter, was going through the health conditions, but I could feel the stress in my body and in my head. It was tingling. I could feel like little tingling in my scalp, And I knew I was under stress, but once I started losing my hair, it was like, okay, Jamie, you got to do a couple of things. You need to really take care of yourself in the midst of taking care of her. So, yes, mine was stress induced.
Okay. So what are the different forms of alopecia? Because I know it's not, only that one. And I want to talk about, how men, what I'm saying, suffer from it also too. But what are the different, forms of alopecia that exist out there?
Well, first of all, let me tell your listeners what alopecia is.
Yeah.
Alopecia is an autoimmune disease. It's basically where your immune system attacks your hair follicle and causes your hair to fall out. Basically, our bodies cannot recognize our hair. And there are 6.8 million people in the US and 147 million people worldwide. And I will say, in counting, that have this disease disorder. And so there are different forms. It's alopecia areata, which I started out that way. I just had like bald spots throughout my head. There's alopecia totalis, where you just lose the hair on your head. Then there's alopecia universalis, and that is losing all the hair on your body. Then there is what we call traction alopecia, where you notice a lot of women that lose their hair around their edges. So that's traction alopecia. Then there is scarring alopecia.
But the traction alopecia cannot be a result of like braiding your
Sometimes
hair.
it can be a result from braiding
Yeah.
or ponytails being too tight, but then
Yeah.
sometimes women, it just happens. It can be genetic, and then too, just from doing hair. What we do most of the time as women, when we go to bed at night, we sleep. We don't cover our head up. We don't put a satin pillowcase on or anything, or a satin bonnet. So when you're sleeping at night and you're sleeping on a cotton pillowcase, it has little bitty holes. So as you're sleeping, it causes friction, and it can cause your hair to fall out as well. So that's something else that a lot of people don't know about.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going. You had said another. You were saying you said traction alopecia, and then you had said
Traction alopecia, scarring
okay.
alopecia, and that is like it looks like a scar. Different marks, indentions in the head, and let's see what else. Another thing that falls under the umbrella of hair loss is what they call trichomania. What that is that's a condition where people actually pull their hair out, and I think it's really more like a nervous condition. Pull their
Yeah.
hair out, or pull their eyelashes or the eyebrows out, or something like
Mhm.
that. So there's so many different forms and different types.
Yeah. One of my homeboys when he was younger, that's how we kind of figured out that he had some stress related or trauma or something like that because he started to pull out his eyebrows.
Mm.
He was just pulling them out and stuff. So, um, I probably should check back in now that I know that's a form of alopecia, and just to check back in. He's got to be at least 30 by now, though.
Mm.
But just to see what was that about, and educate myself on what he was going through in his life that
Mhm.
really inspired him to do that. You know,
Yes.
I wanted to talk a little bit about like the appropriate ways to address a person with alopecia. Now they're called now people with alopecia are called alopecians. Is that correct? I saw that term first when I went to an event, and I heard people refer to themselves as alopecians.
I know.
What's
Sounds like an alien, huh?
it
The
sounds
name alopecia. But yeah, yeah, we say alopecians. It's like a I guess just a way that we can kind of identify and have more of a sense of community,
mm,
if I was to say.
yeah.
So yes.
So when we're talking about the Chris Rock's comment to Jada, and I think a lot of like he said he didn't know she had alopecia. And I know I've, addressed, people who have bald head. I call them bald headed. And that's one instance. He referred to her as G.I. Jane. You know what I'm saying? Calling a person bald headed, is that offensive in the alopecia community? I know you can't speak for everybody, but I think you can make a general, what I'm saying, commentary on it. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. There's just some things that are a good idea, some things that are not a good idea. But you know, sometimes we talk with our eyes a lot. If we see someone who's bald headed, we say they're bald headed,
Hmm. Yeah,
and that kind of
you're right.
that kind of leads into like the G.I. Jane comment. He said he didn't know. And I think we make the assumption that G.I. Jane is an ugly person or like something's wrong. I think that's a bigger conversation, because I think that when a woman is bald, they automatically make that transition that bald is ugly. And I think that's an even bigger conversation that we really need to tackle, because as soon as you get compared to a bald headed person and you're a woman or even a man, and one of the first things we start doing is start talking about someone's receding hairline. You might want to just let it go, brother. And we joke a lot about that there is some kind of intersection that ugliness and baldness share. So if we say bald headed, I mean, in general, in the alopecia community, is that something offensive?
For some people, it would be. And for me, we get so many comments. Number one, they think we have cancer. And if I hear someone, just a stranger, say you're bald headed and they're being derogatory, then yes, I would get offended. But if they ask me out of curiosity, just wanted to know the reason behind me being bald, that's a different story. So it's the approach, and it's the tone in which you're talking or addressing someone. And if you're a total stranger, I mean, some people have no tact whatsoever. So
Right.
that is key. Let's be tactful.
Right. I think I remember one time I remember I referred to you as bald headed one time, you know what I'm saying? And you were like, it's cool for you to say it.
Yeah, exactly. Because
But I sincerely, genuinely did not know that it was, it was offensive. It could be offensive.
yeah.
Now, we talked about a little bit offline about Chris Rock's comments and stuff, comparing her to G.I. Jane. Now, you don't speak for everybody, but I compared it to me saying, "Hey, when you gonna be in the next, Black Panther 2 movie as one of the sisters from Wakanda, one of the Wakanda warriors?"
Mhm.
And I asked you, in both situations, would you be offended? What did you say?
Well, for the Wakanda, I would take it as a compliment. A warrior, because people say that all the time now, and I tell people
Yeah.
I was rocking this before Wakanda. I am Wakanda. Okay, I am the warrior. So I look at it from Wakanda forever. Okay, but you're so silly. But as far as GI Jane, I feel so embarrassed saying this, but I couldn't even remember who she was at first.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it, I can't speak to that as far as it being offensive, but I think there's more layers to why Will was offended and why Jada's facial expression told us everything, that she
Mm-hmm.
didn't like his comment because she knew she had alopecia. I thought he knew because everybody else knew. She well, nope, let me take that back. I can't say everybody else knew, but I know that she's been on her Instagram live and
Yeah.
talking about her condition. And then we were on her show back in September talking about hair loss, being bald. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think he shouldn't have said it, especially on national television like that.
Yeah,
That
I
platform.
totally forgot, because I remember seeing all the things, and I remember you were on the show too, and I was really proud of you and whatnot. That was a big accomplishment for the movement that you do. But when he had said it, I totally forgot that she, for some reason, she had alopecia. And I think, in all honesty, reason why I forgot is because when I see alopecia, I identify with the people that you deal with, and I deal with your experiences, and her experience looks different than yours.
Mm.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
what do you mean though? Her experience looks different.
Well, just from optics, the
Okay.
clump of hair falling out. I didn't see any spots. Even the men that I know,
Hmm.
who I work with, after you had like educated me on
Hmm.
alopecia, I remember going to one of my coworkers and I said, "Hey, man, that looks like an alopecia pattern." He said, "Probably is." You know what I'm saying? It probably is. You know what I'm saying? But this is a person where there is no what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Clean
she
follicles.
Yeah, she has follicles. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
She has follicles. She has an even layer of hair based on the
Hmm.
on the on the angles that I've seen. And so
Hmm.
that's why I said, well, number one, some people were stepping out um they were being clumsy. I will call it clumsy because some people are on there saying that Pfizer is coming out with this alopecia medication or drug, and that she's just a spokesperson, and she's not, she doesn't really have it, and she's just doing it to promote awareness around it and also promote this drug. And when I chimed in, I was like, well, no, I've read. Now I know you say you can't reverse it, but I have read that if you have the early signs of it, you can make changes and you can start reversing the effects of it and the impact of it. You may still have it, but it might be in remission. So I made
Well,
that comment, and I just think it's insensitive, dismissive, and just ugly to say someone doesn't have it who's saying they have it, and you don't have any other proof than some conspiracy theory. Kind of same,
exactly.
kind of same thing with the Magic Johnson really doesn't have HIV type comments that come out. You know what I mean? But we also have to understand that um that Jada could has a lot of resources too. She ain't just like Jamie and Logic, you know what I'm saying? She has a lot of resources to deal with a condition. You know what I'm saying? And maybe she can, do things with her money and her resources that, a regular person can't. You know what I'm saying? That's real too.
That is, and let me speak to that. So there's different types of alopecia. Okay, we talked about that, and if I think about Jada and the average woman, if you have a choice, especially with all the beautiful hair that she had, why would she choose to say she has a condition and be faking it when she had beautiful long hair? Why would she just say, I have alopecia and I'm going to keep my hair? I mean, because it's still a choice, but I don't think that she would lie about something like that, because alopecia is it's more than just losing your hair. You know what I mean? There's a depression that goes along with it. I mean, there's so many things that goes along with that. But then, too, to add to that is, you talked about her having hair and having follicles. And I wish I would have brought my pictures because I could have showed you guys before I got to this point, because I have now alopecia universalis, and that means I lost all my eyebrow hair, my eyelashes, my nose hairs. Pretty much, I don't have any hair on my body now. Mine um, grew to that point, and so I'm not saying that Jada's will, but everybody's different. Her follicle hasn't closed yet. She still has hair on her head, but she obviously has made the choice to shave, cut the rest of her hair so she won't have the spots that are bald, you know,
Hmm.
sticking out and making it obvious. Because for me, it made sense. It made more sense for me, and I felt more comfortable when I looked at myself in the mirror to shave my hair off versus looking at myself with strands of hair sticking off my head.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, well, to answer your questions, one of your questions, someone would say, "Oh, why would she cut off all her hair?" They'd be like, "Well, she is an actress. She's an actor. She's used to cutting off her hair and playing a role." Someone could say, I could
Mhm.
hear someone saying that. I mean, people
Yeah.
say that already about Will, and some people think that their whole interaction and their whole relationship that they have on the screen is their brand, and they're acting, and they're just doing this to generate attention and whatnot, because Will's got a book coming out and she has to promote her Red Table Talk. So I mean, people say a lot of things. I mean, um there's no way to really prove any of this stuff. These are just allegations and assumptions that people make you know
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just and their relationship has been so vocal and so clear to all of us. It's unfortunate. It's kind of a good thing because it brings awareness to alopecia, but it's unfortunate that it brought it to the forefront, and then people make comments, such, I saw a lot of this. Um, it's not like you're going to die from it. Can you speak on that? Because I played around with the words a little bit, because you had shared stories about me about the depression and the sadness that comes out of having alopecia, people being bullied and criticized and just feel ashamed for not meeting that beauty standard, and then them committing suicide. And so I was like, oh yeah, you're not gonna die from, having alopecia, but tell that to a person who, has a loved one who committed suicide, and they probably wouldn't have done it if they hadn't had, alopecia. Can you speak to that? Like, it's an autoimmune disease, but it's not like you're gonna die from it.
You're right. It's not like you're gonna die from. It's not a terminal illness, but the the different layers that come along with that alopecia can kill you emotionally, mentally, um, socially, because there's so much emphasis on hair and us looking different as far as what society says. And so the teasing that takes place for my babies, the comments, the isolation, the weight gain, weight loss. I mean, there's so many different things, and it's the mental battle. Can you imagine? I can remember my journey in my early years when I was wearing a wig and trying to hide it. When I would go somewhere, number one, I really didn't want to go because I was already nervous, wondering was somebody gonna notice that I had bald spots, or was I gonna accidentally rub my eyebrows off, because I did that before. So you're thinking about, where am I going to strategically sit so people aren't sitting behind me? You know what I'm saying? So there's so many different reasons why a person will get to the point where they feel hopeless. They don't have the support. I mean, I know I'm going around and around in circles, but it's so many layers to alopecia, and just trying to fit into society, and what society how the society defines what beauty is, and acceptance. Especially if you think about women and then little kids, you're going through adolescent years, and you want to have a boyfriend one day, or you want to have a girlfriend one day, or someone my age, you want to get married one day, and then you're wondering if somebody's going to accept you. So, I mean, come on, it's more to it. It really
Yeah.
is, and knowing how to navigate.
I think some people make that comment too because there is a kind of a double standard when it comes to men and women when they bald. Because being bald as a woman, especially as a black woman, I mean, that's a common term. If you want to insult someone with your bald headed self, you know what I'm saying? It's common to make fun of a black woman because her hair doesn't grow as long. There's good hair, there's bad hair, which ironically is a documentary that Chris Rock did and didn't include Madam C.J. Walker, but that's a whole different topic. But anyways, but I think that sometimes people say, well, it's not a big deal. You're not going to die from it, because so many times there are men who go bald and we make fun of it and we just be like, get over it. You lose your hair because you're getting older. That kind of comes back to the Bill Maher comments that he made that were just so disgusting and gross, when he was kind of just like, you get older, what I'm saying, you lose your hair, he said, and excuse my language, he said, put a fucking wig on it, and I was like, this guy. And what I think is, what is really interesting about this whole thing though, Jamie, is it's usually the people with a full head of hair talking about it's not a big deal.
That's what I was about to say. You got hair. You have hair. So it's easy for you to say, put a wig on it. It's no big deal when you have hair. And I tell people this all the time. Imagine you're going through life. You go to bed, you had a full day at work. You wake up the next morning and you're washing your face and you look and you don't have no eyebrows. That's what happened to me. None. Or you look and your eyelashes are literally gone. So the way you were the day before, or even the way you looked 5 minutes before. I have a friend, a male friend of mine, he lost all his hair within 2 hours. All the hair on his body within 2 hours. So for people to say that it's just hair or it's not a big deal, when you have not walked in our shoes, or when you do not have a family member that's dealing with this type of condition, you should not put your mouth on how a person should respond, how a person should react when somebody makes a comment, especially my babies, because one of my babies committed suicide 3 weeks ago, 12 years old, wearing a wig to school, and people taking off her wig and teasing her. Within a 3-week period, she was gone.
That's terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. I wonder what the science says about if it's an autoimmune disease. I wonder what science says about what it actually does to your immune system. Now, I know it eventually is going to impact your immune system because too many people are depressed, and depression is all kinds of scientific facts that lowers your immune system. So I wonder if there's a direct connection to how alopecia impacts your immune system, since it is an autoimmune. It's not like lupus. Of course, it's not like HIV, but I wonder, because the body is an ecosystem in itself. If one thing is off, it throws something else off, and you got to compensate. If you don't eat the right foods, you don't exercise, you don't do this, that, and the third. I just wonder, I just.
It's so interesting that you said that, because a lot of people don't realize this. Once you have alopecia, since it's an autoimmune disease, you have a higher chance of getting another autoimmune condition. You know what I'm saying? So I call them relatives. I got some people who have alopecia, they have lupus, they have diabetes, arthritis. So there's so many different autoimmune diseases or disorders under that umbrella. And like you said, to your point, when your immune system is down or whatever, you have a higher chance of something else happening. So yeah, we may not die, but we may get something else, or something else may happen to our body that causes our body to break down in another area, in which in turn we can die from that. And it may not be alopecia.
Right. Edward Newman said, how does your diet influence alopecia? Do you know you got anything on that?
Yeah. For me, what I did when I started going through my journey, I made some conscious decisions. I knew that I started getting a lot of anxiety. So I had to change my lifestyle. I started working out. I started eating different, drinking more water. So yes, I think your lifestyle, and you know what? Also, there's some people in my community that they have a gluten-free diet. So they eat certain foods and not for certain foods. So I think your diet does have something to do with it. And to your point, you said earlier, where you may reverse a condition. There are some people that have alopecia, and maybe haven't had hair for years, and one day all their hair goes back. I've had several people, all their hair has grown back, and for some unknown reason, they've been able to keep their hair, but then some people, their hair falls right back out again. It's like a roller coaster ride. Now, my hair, it hasn't come back in no form whatsoever.
Yeah. I wanted to add on to what you just now said. I just now started going to Dossier Integrated Medicine. They just take alternative medicine and Western medicine. They take the best out of both worlds and they combine it together. One of the things that they first did, and I had done it like on a Google, I did it casually on a Google, as I found out my blood type, O positive, and I Googled all the foods that I should be eating. And I had been eating a lot of the foods that I should be eating according to my blood type, but there was just some foods that I'm not going to eat no matter what, just based on just how my body reacts, like beef and pork. I'm not doing that, for other reasons. But one of the things that I did, because when I got that shot, is it caused like some nerve damage, and I looked it up, and now I have some nerve damage. And one of the things that I did is I paid them some money to run my blood. And they did a category of like over 80 different foods based on my blood. And you're not gonna trust this. It came out of my blood. If it goes over a 1, right, you shouldn't be eating that. Why was salmon like at a 6?
And that's your number one go-to. Are you serious?
So if they said for 2 weeks, I was on vacation, so I got into the practice of eating, not eating and eating certain foods. I can't see myself eating beef on a regular basis at all because it's just not my thing. I don't like how it interacts with my body. But
Yes.
carrots was on there, salmon was on there. A lot of stuff I already knew was on there. I've been gluten free for a year. Um, that was on there. Beer, yeast, stuff like that is on there.
Yes.
So my whole point I'm trying to make is the whole point of them checking my blood, hook me up with an acupuncturist, hook me up with a chiropractor, which I'm still a little bit skeptical with. I'm not really
Mhm.
like the chiropractor, but I like,
Mhm.
getting a hyperbaric chamber, getting the vitamin C IV and the Myris IV and the ozone IV.
Ooh.
What I'm trying to make is it's all connected. It's all
Yes.
connected. It's all connected. I'm gonna start getting more energy. I hit 47. I can feel my energy lowering, stuff like that. A lot of the stuff that I'm
Mhm.
doing right. Like she showed me her chart, the actual doctor. She said, look at my chart, because we're
Mm.
going by gut health. She wants to improve my gut health because she says
Oh,
everyone has leaky
yes.
gut. And I'm sure leaky gut and alopecia are connected because they say your gut is your second brain. But she's
Yes.
saying like stuff like working out that increases your testosterone, has you have more energy. But the things that I've been putting in my body on a
Mhm.
regular basis, even though I've been doing a good job, is draining my energy.
Ain't that something?
Draining. Like even little things like green peas,
Mm.
it's on my chart. Like I said, carrots, it's on my chart. Ginger is on my chart. I told them I'm not stopping eating ginger or salmon. We're just gonna have to figure out something about that because those things have more benefits than they do deficit.
Non-negotiable one. Non-negotiable one.
Right,
We're not
right,
doing that.
right. So I'm just saying, if I really want to get my life right, either
Mhm.
I got to start taking different supplements like B12 to increase my energy, or just stop doing so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And a
Yes.
lot of times when we talk about alopecia, let's loop it full around. Sometimes people be doing too much with alopecia. And reason why I say that is, no, I'm being serious. No,
I
and I'm
know.
not talking about you indirectly. What I'm saying is, we really need to reevaluate this grind till you die. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mentality that's in an American capitalist system where we like, oh man, I can rest later. No, get your rest. And I am way worse than that than you.
Mm.
Jamie, I
Mm.
call you at 9:34, 9:45. You brother, why you calling me so late? On average, I go to bed probably like midnight. I can't afford to do that.
Yes. Come on,
She,
we can
she,
talk now. We can.
Nubin's already jumping. What about sleep? Yes, that all has to do with your immune system. You know.
e- everything connects, and I'm glad you said that because when I started my journey again, I went to a naturopath doctor. We did the same thing, checked everything. And one thing that I noticed for me is sugar is the enemy. When I say the
Yep.
enemy,
I can't eat no more sugar, man, for like 2 weeks and clean my gut out. Yep. Go ahead. No.
I mean, it's the enemy. And like you said, the gut, everything is in the gut. I mean, we have to, and alopecians, and when I talk to my community and some people that I work with one on one, we have to take a holistic approach, and we have to understand self-care. What does that look like? Sleeping, learn how to say no, listening to your body, because that's one thing that I learned over these years is when my body's telling me I'm tired now, and I'm pumping the brakes. If it's in the
Hmm.
middle of the day and I'm at home, I'm pumping the brakes. So we have to look at everything, and like you said, everything connects.
It
Connect the
does.
dots. It just
People don't
does.
understand how powerful this body is that you have.
And we only get one
Edward
chance.
said, yeah. Edward said, I was about to get some salmon now. Whoa. Listen, brother. That's my readout. Watch out, bro. Watch out. That's my readout. Now I'm just playing with you.
I
Now
love
that's my
salmon.
readout according to my blood. You might as well. I mean, you might just as well be able to eat salmon and it doesn't have an impact. Now, I don't know what the impact is. I know salmon is anti-inflammatory. I don't know what it might be doing, but it showed up. What
Mm,
also might be happening is something else that I'm putting in my body along with the salmon, feel me? And it's not
mm,
mixing well. That's why I gotta fast. So I'm doing
yes.
this whole food
I
fast
know.
along with Ramadan right now. I'm just trying to get my body right, and it's really tiring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Althea said, she said, I've seen my mother lose her hair more than once, and I believe it was due to stress. I'm going to keep drinking water and minding my business. It's a fear that I have. I don't know how I'd respond, but I'm sure it'll be heartbreaking. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
It's
would be.
it's it's crazy because yeah, it's crazy because a lot of our hairstyles, we gotta wonder if that makes us, you know, more candidates for alopecia too. Black women's hairstyle and black men's too. Because there was a time where black men used to put, S curls in their hair and do all this stuff. Who knows what all these different greases, have in them, what kind of chemicals. I wonder if it makes us more prone to have alopecia.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
no, because
Okay.
alopecia doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate. It can happen to any age, any gender, and any race at any time. So it's an equal opportunity, okay,
What
for
I,
anybody.
what I was trying to get at is there's chemicals we put in our hair, and people have said, I put these chemicals in my hair, and now my hair is thinning out, and it's
Mhm.
it's it's falling out, and my hair is getting
Yeah.
short because of all the dyes and stuff. And I just want to know if you doing that compromises your hair follicles. You feel me? And makes you more prone to alopecia.
Well, you doing that can compromise anything. I mean, it's not just
Yeah.
necessarily saying I'm alopecia, because I'm a hairstylist. So if
Right.
people are not taking care of their hair or putting certain chemicals in their hair, then yes, they will have a adverse reaction. So I think it's on a case by case basis. Everyone needs to pay attention to their body, their hair, to see what. Because some people they can't handle relaxers and chemicals. Some people can't handle color. And then for African Americans, we some of us don't want to spend so much time and with our hair being in its natural state. You know what I'm saying? So it's a catch-22. You just got to figure out what works for you and what works best for your body and for your hairstyle.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you already addressed this, but Kia might have missed it. She said, Jamie, is it alopecia when people lose their hair from stress later and then it grows back?
I'm gonna say yes and no, because yes, I have people in my community, their hair has grown back. Stress is, calmed down. And then there's people who've you know, so yes and no. Yes and
Mhm.
no. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say, because I'm not a doctor, but it's a yes or no. Case by
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that a person can do to like stimulate their hair follicles when they have alopecia and they find it? No, I'm being serious. No,
What you
because
do?
I did this around one of my friends who's a hair. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's good for your hair. You're stimulating your hair follicles, helps them grow by brushing your hair." So if someone
Yep.
gets a diagnosis, is there anything that they can do and they still
Well,
have hair?
well, doctors, what they did for me, what they suggested for me when I started losing my hair was the steroid injections, where they
Mhm.
took a needle and stuck it in my head all over, which was very painful. So that's one thing that they suggest, or a topical um, ointment, steroid ointment. So there is not, to answer that, there is not a known cure remedy that we can say that I know of that will make your hair grow back from alopecia, because it is an autoimmune disease. Now, of course, your hair can grow back, but it's there's nothing out there that I know of. Because if it is, tell me where it is.
So they don't really know why you're. I mean, they can make assumptions and make some thesis and hypothesis of why your hair grows back. But what you're saying, it is not like, hey, you do this and your stuff's going to grow back. Your hair's going to grow back. Gotcha.
Exactly. I have what's so interesting, I have two brothers, they're twins, and they both had alopecia. But now they changed their diet like on a whole nother level, and they have hair. So
Mm,
I think that kind of there is a connection, but then again, there are people that have a healthy diet and they still have alopecia. So I think it just depends on the individual, and why some people's hair grow back, why some people's hair fall out. I don't know. I don't
okay.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, so the diet comes up again. So it's not like it's gonna hurt you if you do change your diet and it doesn't work to make your hair grow back. It's not like
Exactly.
it's not like it's gonna hurt you. So why not
Mhm.
try it? I wanted to go in as we wrap up, and I wanted to go a little bit because I like to talk about relationships, primarily focus on black male female relationships, and I know you showed a movie, you premiered a movie. I think it was about 3 years ago.
Maybe
Um,
a little longer, but yeah. Hmm.
it's been long. And I thought that movie was powerful because it really opened up a windows and doors and a portal into the life of a person, a black woman hiding alopecia from her significant other.
Yes.
And so, talk about what can people do when they get that alopecia diagnosis and they're in a relationship. Should they hide it? Should they bring it out? I mean, how often should they, like, how do they navigate that? I mean, to really trust that someone really loves and appreciates you and not just trying to be nice. That's tough.
It's, that's
Tough.
very tough, very tough. And let me give a shout out to my producer, who Mr. Hamilton, who produced that movie a few years ago. But the relationship piece is so deep, because I say to people, you will know if someone really loves you for who you are, um, if you have alopecia and you tell them. And I think that you should tell them. Now, for me, woo, I'm gonna be transparent. For me, I had a fear when it came to relationships, and I tried to figure out how was I going to tell this man that I had alopecia. And I remember dating this one guy, and he didn't have a clue because I was a hairstylist. So he just thought I was always switching up my hair. I was putting the weaves in it and, wearing the head wraps and all that. And we went 6 months before I told him and showed him that I had alopecia. And so I think the sooner you can tell someone, the sooner you will find out if that person is the one for you. Because it takes a real man to be with a woman that has alopecia. It takes a real man. Because some men,
Well,
it's all the looks. It's all about the looks.
yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. There is a difference because women are used to dealing with men with bald heads.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like, it's Michael Jordan, it's Ray Allen, it's, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? It's a common
Yes.
beauty aesthetic for men being bald
Yes.
head,
Hmm.
and we had a
Being
whole
bald.
we
There
had
you
a
go
whole
again.
named Onyx, that
Hmm.
have bald heads, you know what I'm saying? I think that also goes into, and I know it goes into our beauty standards and our value systems. And we accept value systems from the European who are into really just talking bad about black people no matter how we look. It don't
Mm.
Our noses are too big, our heads are too bald, you know what I'm saying? Our lips are too big, our butts is too big. We're overweight if we don't meet the standards of their BMI or body, mass index. And so it's just like we got to start changing how we view ourselves and how we value ourselves, because a lot of babies come out the womb bald
Yes. Yeah,
and they're
they do.
beautiful and they're cute. And those
Hmm.
women in Wakanda were beautiful. And a lot of tribes in Africa have beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
human beings and beautiful women specifically who are bald. And
Hmm.
so, do you see a lot of women specifically pushing away their significant other if they feel like um, they might be shamed by their partner, and just like
Yeah.
kind of like sabotage the relationship because they feel like they're not going to be loved? Can you talk about that if you've ever witnessed it or experienced it?
Yes. I've had several sisters from the community that have had bad experiences with their significant others. One, um, she never, her husband never seen her head. So when they're at home, she always wore her wig. She covered her head up. I don't know what they did when they were intimate, but her husband knew something was wrong or different, but she never showed him. So being able to be transparent and intimate and give your full self to your husband, I think women struggle with that more because, like you said, society and how men look at women. They look at our outer appearance, what we look like, and the long hair. So women struggle with that. I will say yes, it's hard. And I had one friend, her husband passed away before she could even show him that she had alopecia. So it's hard because I was actually in a relationship one time, and I remember the guy was always complimenting me about my hair every time we went out somewhere, and oh, you look nice, blah blah blah. And this one particular day, he complimented me on my hair, and I was wearing a long weave, and it was cute. And I said, you know what? You keep complimenting me. I said, but I'm wearing a wig. And he said, what? I said, I'm wearing a wig. I said, I take this on and off at night. And he was like, really? I said, I have alopecia. So I explained it to him, and I said, are you cool with that? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine with that. I went out of town a few days later, came back about a week. I was gone for about a week, and I never heard from him again. So that's the fear that most women have, that they're going to be rejected and abandoned.
I know you're gonna laugh at this because little brother always have creative questions. Okay, now I'm being serious now because I already know your reaction. Is there an alopecia dating community? Like, you go onto the site, see, you already got started.
No, that's a good idea because I thought about starting something like that.
Okay.
But no, not that I know of. I don't think that there's a dating site for just alopecians.
Yeah. I think that would be a great idea because then you ain't gotta like.
Well, why do we have to put ourselves in a box and just date alopecians? I mean, why can't we just?
You don't. But I think there's some people who feel more comfortable doing that, not having to have to go through that barrier. Just like ChristianMingle.com, you want to have someone who's evenly yoked and who's saved by
evenly yoked. Right. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So it's just like, dang, I just know. Well, hey, you need to start it now. You got to start it now. You got to start it. You got to start the app now. You got to start the site now.
I got all kinds of stuff going in the works. I don't even know how. I just got to get a whole lot of money, okay, to continue with the projects that I'm doing.
Yeah. Speaking of a whole lot of money, if you would like to donate to, let's put your Cash App up there, and your okay.
Who's Cash App?
Yours. Put it up there so they can donate to the alopecia movement. You got a whole movement we're gonna get into at the end of the show where they can find you and how they can support and donate and whatnot.
I wish I could put the link for them to donate directly to the alopecia support group.
Okay.
But
I can put it in the comments.
Yeah, the website, alopeciasupportgroup.org. We need all the support we can get so we can continue with the work that we're doing. Our Barbie campaign and our documentary and all of that.
Alopeciasupportgroup.org.
Yes. All one word. You should know how to spell it by now, brother.
Got you. I do. All right, send the comments. Okay, I want to do this one comment by I don't know if you know any data on this. He said, is the rate of alopecia higher now than in the past? Our food supply is not what it used to be, and people are way more stressed. I don't remember growing up in all my family. I never knew anyone with alopecia, not outwardly.
But you know what? Alopecia has been around for years, and so many people didn't talk about it. I mean, I know people that are 70, 80 years old who have alopecia, but they've been hiding it their entire life. But to answer Edward's question, I think there may be more people being diagnosed with alopecia because of the climate, because of food, and just all of that. And then I'm noticing more kids, more babies, young kids that are getting alopecia. It's just it's blowing my mind. I mean, the youngest that I know of was 15 months old, and that's a baby. That's
tough.
Yeah, that is. That's tough. It is. Oh, thank
All right,
you.
so let's do this. Let's see talk. What we do a plan of action. We're gonna do the plan of action first, and then based on our conversation, and then we're gonna go to all the places they can, they can find you and whatnot. So um, based on what you talked about today, I'll let you go first. What do you think the plan of action is moving forward, supporting people with alopecia, and whatnot? Or if you have alopecia, I mean, what is the plan of action we move forward?
For someone who has alopecia, first of all, plan of action is to go get diagnosed to find out if you even have it. Go to your doctor, dermatologist, and then second, find a support group. I think a support group is vital. Being around people that are dealing with the same condition that you're dealing with, because they understand and they can give you the support that you need. And then also telling your family and your friends, because for years my family didn't even have a clue. I was suffering in silence all by myself. So find your support system. Tell your family. Go to counseling. You know, um, Go to counseling. I did. So that's the plan of action as far as from the alopecia side, because of course, once you get involved in a community and a support group, then you'll get other tools on how to navigate, how to accessorize, wear certain styles, wearing earrings, and just change your whole narrative when it comes to navigation with alopecia. But then, what was the other part? You asked me about.
No,
I
that's
forgot
it.
the.
It's just a
That's
plan of
it.
action. I'll
Okay.
do my plan of action as an outsider and as an advocate,
Okay.
and as an ally. I think as an ally and an advocate, if you're out there and you know someone who has alopecia, I think first and foremost, hear their story and get educated. And not always depending on them to tell you everything, because if you can Google the best restaurant in Seattle to eat, you know what I'm saying, shrimp and lobster, you can Google, alopecia, the, how it progresses, the different forms of it, you know what I'm saying, hearing people's stories, the stress, so you can stop saying clumsy stuff like just put on an effing wig or you're not
Yes.
going to die from it. It's not a big deal, you don't, stuff like that. So educate yourself and listen to people's stories, but don't be dependent on a person with alopecia to tell you that story all the time, because sometimes they're not ready, and they don't have enough energy to do that. It's not their job unless they appoint themselves that. And even when they appoint themselves that, there's only a certain time that the school and the classroom is open.
Okay.
Right or wrong. You just can't be like, hey, man, I got some questions. No, brother, I'm chilling right now. You know
Thank
what I'm
you.
saying? A doctor's office is not always open. There's office hours for a reason.
Mm,
So hear people's story and educate yourself. And then if you really want to be an ally, if you really want to be somewhat of an accomplice, join the alopecia movement. Join us. How can I volunteer? How can I
yes.
just give my money? I actually got a little extra time. When can I come to your event? Because I've gone to several Jamie's events. It's not just people sitting up talking about, oh, woe is me, I'm bald, and this, that, and the third, I'm losing my hair. It's about a celebration of your beauty. It's about wearing your crown, like Jamie says. It's about sharing, different beauty styles. I remember I went to one at Rainier Beach Community Center where she had people doing people's hair and putting on different accessories, and be a part of that group and that movement so you can really understand it and really support. You know what I'm saying? And then most importantly, number three, ask how you can support
Yes.
instead of running around thinking like, oh yeah, this is what they want me to do. They want me to do this. They want no. Ask first. Hey man, is it cool if I do this? And well, how do you want me to support you? And sometimes they might want you to just, hey man, just hold my hand.
Mm,
Just be cool. Just be quiet. Like some people, like Jada said, which is a whole different conversation. Some people are like Jada. I don't need no man to defend me in my baldness. I'm fine with my hair being
mhm.
short. I'm fine with my baldness. Some people are not ashamed of it. And when you
Yeah.
make the assumption that they are and they're depressed, it's kind of throws a little bit of shade. You're being clumsy. You got to stop assuming everyone is just, ashamed of being bald,
Mm-mm.
you know? But yeah. Here's the good part though. This is how you can support. See if you can remember all the stuff that you've done, because I'm so proud of you. The documentary, the magazine, everything. You got the. Oop, I can't talk about that. Sorry, I almost said it. Sorry, my bad.
I'll bring it up.
You got the dating app too coming up. Now I'm just messing with you.
If anybody knows how to help me set that up, reach out to me because I would love to set up a dating app. Okay.
That would be dope. But anyways, go ahead. Tell them what you got going on. Tell them where they can find you. I got the alopecia support group.org up there where they can donate and they can find out, your next event. But go ahead.
Oh, yes. So the alopecia support group.org. And then also I have a magazine called Bald Life Magazine. It's the first magazine of its kind featuring all bald people, whether alopecia, cancer, medically induced, or simply by choice. It's a platform for us. Because let me say this. The reason why I came up with this idea and this concept is because I was on the cover of a magazine years ago, and I started writing in magazines and things of that nature. And when I was on the cover in 2018, I was like, you know what? There's not a magazine for my community. There's not a magazine. So I was talking to one of my good girlfriends here, Valerie P. Ryan. She was just on there, and I was telling her about it. And so we started brainstorming, and we came up with the name Bald Life Magazine. So we birthed that in September of 2020. So we are global. I have every ethnic group, people from Japan, Ukraine, Spain. I can't even remember, from all over the world. And then also we had Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley on our cover, volume 4. And that was amazing. So you guys have to go check it out. baldlifemagazine.com. You can purchase online, and you can either purchase a digital copy or a hard copy.
I need my hard copy for the fourth
for the fourth edition. You had it, don't you? You got yours.
I didn't got that one. I ain't got that one. I got the third. The fourth.
No, the one that you were in, you do have that one with the Ayanna Pressley
on the cover of it.
Yeah, she was on the cover. You don't have that one?
Nah, you was on the cover of that one. The one I
No, you have it.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about that offline.
Okay, we'll talk about. Sorry, you guys. Logically, I have to help him because he used to call me left brain for a reason. So, anyway, but anyway, so and then I also have we have the documentary. We are working on getting that on a platform. Once COVID hit, it kind of threw things off. So we have a documentary. It's called Harmony, Alopecia Stories. And you've seen that. That was simply amazing. Then we also have, go ahead.
No, it was good. Go ahead. Keep on. I was just saying it was good. Yeah.
Okay. We also, in June of this year, will be marching and participating in our second parade in Annapolis, Maryland. We have people that fly from all over the country to attend that. It's a 2-day event. So check us out there. You can go to my website and find out that information. And then we also have a book coming out. The first of its it's called Alopecia His Story. We have male co-authors. They will be sharing their stories. So you guys check that out. We will be releasing that in May. So please follow me, follow my website, and please purchase that book, because I'm telling you, it's going to open up your eyes once you hear the stories of men and their journeys. And I think that's about it that I'm working. I got some other stuff that I'm working on, but that's pretty much it.
But they can find out everything if they go to alopeciasupportgroup.org. That's a good navigator. They can find everything on there, right?
No, because I separate the nonprofit, because the Alopecia Support Group is a nonprofit, and then I have the for-profit on the other side. So
Bald Life. Okay.
Yeah, baldlifemagazine.com. And then, of course, they can Google my name, and it'll kind of lead them to everything. But, can I say this real quick? For the Alopecia Support Group, what we're doing right now is we've been doing this for about a year. We have a Barbie campaign. We've been shipping bald Barbies to little girls all over the world. So if you guys want to donate toward that as well, we'll be happy to receive any type of donation. So
that'd be
thank you.
And I want to add, so Jamie used to, plan events and be the event coordinator and used to be the stage manager for the Griot Party Experience. And I say that to say this: There's a reason why she was the left brain of the Griot Party experience at one time, because she knows how to throw an event or an experience. So I'm telling you, even if you just like, oh man, I don't know about, I might feel uncomfortable. I don't want to intrude on the alopecia space. No, it's more than that. This woman knows how to throw an event. She knows how to throw an experience. I mean, to the point I'd be like, Jamie, relax, we're good. It's world class. It's a world class event. When she showed her documentary, I mean, there is full, visuals of, people with alopecias. I mean, she's got the lighting, she's got the table, she's got, all the aesthetics. I mean, she really truly knows how to throw an event. So don't miss an event. It's more than just, supporting alopecia. It's actually supporting art too. She knows how to turn this movement into art. And I say that as an artist. And she don't be thinking she's as creative and whatever, but she is. She's a woman who, no pun intended, wears many hats. Not
Yes,
and,
I do. And I love me some hats too.
Yeah, and she wears her crown. So hey, it was good. This is a great episode. You know what I'm saying? Man, we need to do this more, whenever you want to promote something for, alopecia and whatnot, we need to do this more.
Yes. And you know what, brother? I would love to come back on your show with my brothers,
That would be
my
great.
authors.
Yeah.
After we release the book, I would love for us to come back and talk to them about their journey and the book and all of that. I think that'll be really good for your audience to have a firsthand conversation with some men.
Yeah. All the people chiming in, Raquel, Emeka, thank you. She's
I love her.
She does wonders with that camera. And then we got Valerie. She's always been a great support, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot. So miss all y'all, love y'all. And we out. C Talk. Make sure that you can go ahead and donate to C Talk yourself and whatnot. Cash App, Logic, Amen. We're on here at least once a week, usually Monday or Wednesday, but we pop up. All the episodes are on my Facebook page, and now they're on YouTube. So just go ahead and put in C Talk, and then put in like whatever topic you put in C Talk, alopecia, it's gonna pop up. C Talk, you know what I'm saying? Will Smith gonna pop up. So now we're on YouTube. Now we're cooking with some oil. So, anyways, it's been great. We love y'all. Peace.